President Trump wants to make an example of Julian Assange, and they say extradition would eventually make it easier for governments around the world to target journalists who report on leaked information. Well, if Assange is extradited and convicted in the U.S., he will most likely spend the rest of his life in prison. How did the man who gave us WikiLeaks become one of America's most wanted for leaking? We have this report.
These are the images that made whistleblowing website WikiLeaks a household name. In 2010, it published classified US Army material implicating the US government in possible war crimes.
I believe that
it made Julian Assange a brave defender of the truth to some, and an enemy of the state to others. More controversy followed over a later mass leak of diplomatic cables and the 2016 publication of leaked emails from Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. In 2012, Assange began a 7-year stretch holed up at the Ecuadorian embassy in London, trying to clear his name, while Sweden sought to extradite him on rape charges. Sweden dropped the case last year, saying too much time had passed, but the prosecutor still says the accusation was credible. The UN's Special Rapporteur on Torture told DW they were trumped-up charges. He said they were designed to ward off potential whistleblowers from, quote, airing government's dirty laundry. In Paris, Assange's father was ambivalent about his son's chances under the British justice system.
If it follows the trajectory of the treatment of Julian in the last 10 years, it'll be a show trial. But the team of lawyers are so forceful and competent that I'm sure the Crown Prosecuting Authority will see the error of their ways.
Ahead of today's court hearing, Julian Assange has been held in a London maximum security jail, and supporters fear he could face a lot longer behind bars. If extradited to the US, he may spend the rest of his life in prison.
Well, at issue in the extradition case, what exactly is WikiLeaks? The U.S. government argues that WikiLeaks is not a publisher, and the U.S. maintains that Assange is not a free speech champion, but rather just an ordinary criminal. U.S. government attorney James Lewis said the massive WikiLeaks dumping of classified material had put lives at risk. Now, to quote him, reporting or journalism is not an excuse for criminal activities or a license to break ordinary criminal laws. Well, what do journalists say about this? Many are rallying around Julian Assange. More than 1,300 journalists and whistleblowers have signed an open statement of support. Speak up for Assange. Here is part of the video attached to that letter.
This is why I am speaking up in defense of Julian Assange. Now, at this dangerous time,
he is being prosecuted
for the crime of revealing war crimes. It is a terrible miscarriage of justice.
And as the President threatens our journalist colleagues working all around the globe.
Well, that message is one that is championed by Claire Daly. She is an independent socialist Irish member of the European Parliament. She's met Julian Assange and she's campaigned against his extradition. Here's what she told DW News.
What we have here is very much a political prosecution, and extradition proceedings are very much never meant to be for issues like that. I mean, in essence, his extradition is being sought to the US in order to answer charges about publishing classified information, which was demonstrably in the public interest, information about the war crimes of the United States government in Afghanistan and in Iraq, actually material that was also produced published by Der Spiegel, The Guardian, and the New York Times, and that as well. So these are normal journalistic practices, and for someone to face an extradition and to answer charges under the Espionage Act, which had never been used before, really has the danger of being a chilling effect for journalists everywhere. If the United States get away with this, not to mind, obviously, the personal implications for Julian Assange.
Claire Daly there. And as Julian Assange's hearing progresses, we'll follow every important step right here on The Day. Well, it has been the most anticipated court verdict to be handed down